We often describe pregnancy as a peaceful incubation, a mother's body providing a safe harbor for a new life. But on a cellular level, it is a high-stakes encounter between two different organisms with conflicting biological goals. The female reproductive tract is a heavily defended fortress designed to repel invaders. Because a fertilized egg carries an entirely different genetic signature, half coming from the father, it appears as a foreign entity. Her immune system, hardwired to eliminate non-matching DNA, detects this signature, identifies it as a threat, and prepares to destroy it. If the default response of the mother's internal defenses is to hunt and kill anything foreign, the question is how a pregnancy manages to survive at all. Survival isn't guaranteed or passive. It is a constant, active negotiation, a biological tug-of-war between a mother's instinct for self-preservation and a new organism's drive to exist. The selection process starts with millions of sperm cells facing an immediate gauntlet. The female reproductive tract is highly acidic and patrolled by hundreds of thousands of guard cells. This acidity kills millions of the weaker cells within the first half hour. Those that survived must then navigate a maze of protein nets and thick mucus. These physical barriers are designed to trap damaged or slow-moving cells, weeding out all but the strongest candidates. Only a few dozen sperm ever reach the target, a single egg. The egg is an industrial-scale resource center, 10,000 times larger than the sperm, and loaded with 50 times more mitochondria than an average cell. Once the egg accepts a single sperm, the genes of two individuals merge. At this moment, the egg is no longer part of the mother. It becomes a new being with its own biological agenda. To stay alive, this new entity must now actively fight for a place to grow within a host that is still technically hostile to its presence. Within days, the embryo divides into two specialized teams of cells. One team will eventually form the baby, while the other, the trophoblasts, exists to build a temporary organ that will navigate the mother's defenses. As the embryo moves toward the uterine wall, it releases thousands of microscopic bubbles filled with genetic material. These packages enter the mother's uterine cells, releasing signals that encourage the wall to allow the embryo to attach rather than rejecting it. Once attached, the trophoblasts begin a rapid physical expansion. They drill into the uterine tissue like a multi-armed organic structure, spreading and devouring cells to establish a direct connection to her blood supply. This chart shows how the mother monitors the embryo's metabolic noise. An embryo with genetic abnormalities spends more energy on internal repairs, creating an erratic chemical signal. If the mother's immune cells pick up this noisy signature, they are more likely to destroy the embryo. If the embryo provides a steady, healthy signal, the mother cells respond with a flood of supportive chemicals. Her immune cells surround the embryo, creating a physical and chemical safe zone that tells more aggressive defenses to stay away. This makes the implantation a continuous test. The embryo must constantly prove its health to avoid being treated as a failure and ejected by the mother's system. By the 8th week, the trophoblasts have constructed the placenta. This fortress-like organ expands into the uterus, where it begins to aggressively funnel glucose and nutrients from the mother's blood directly to the fetus. This creates a resource conflict. The father's genes within the fetus drive it to take as much energy as possible, while the mother's genes attempt to restrict that flow to ensure she has enough energy for her own survival. To protect itself, the embryo sends its own cells out to migrate through the mother's entire body. They enter her organs and even her brain, releasing signals that keep her immune system from launching a full-scale attack. The final months are defined by this uneasy truce. It is a massive, high-stakes energy transaction between two parties whose interests don't always align. While this internal conflict continues, the fetus increases its weight over 1 billion times. It transitions from a simple cluster of cells into a complex organism with developing organs and a human form. Every living person is the survivor of this selection process. You are here because you successfully navigated that obstacle course and successfully managed a months-long chemical negotiation for your life. Human existence is the result of this precise, high-stakes negotiation. It is the product of two separate biological agendas finding a way to coexist just long enough to create someone new.